boiling lava rained down like a stormy torrent, searing the ground below. The 9 circles of hell burned like a massive inferno, and in its deepest layer, the 9th circle, the most powerful demons clashed in relentless combat. This eternal battle existed to decide the mightiest among them. One demon's horns gleamed with golden rings, while his opponent, a red-skinned behemoth, was armored with brutal spikes. Without hesitation, the golden-horned demon readied his strike. The two titans collided in a fierce, earth-shaking clash. During the fierce fight, the red demon landed a solid punch to his opponent's cheek. He raised his fist for another strike. Boom! A deafening explosion echoed through the canyon, blasting chunks of stone across the battlefield. The red demon floated midair, scanning the rising smoke. Then, from within the swirling dust, a golden horn pierced through. The golden ring demon rose again, his voice heavy with disappointment. He glared at his opponent and muttered that he'd heard rumors about the infamous 9th circle, rumors that had made him expect more from his foe, the so-called Great Demon Balrog. Garkas dropped to one knee, brushing off the hit with a sneer. "Those? They're just tickling," he growled, then roared his opponent's name, Balrog. Balrog stood firm, fists clenched, and smirked. "You sure do talk a lot for someone losing." Enraged, Garkas shot into the sky. "Who's talking a lot now?" he shouted. A blinding explosion erupted across the 9th circle, lighting up the burning chasm. The firestorm from the blast was visible even at its farthest edges, hurling molten rock into the sky. The shockwave rippled out for kilometers, shaking the infernal realm. Garkas was thrown sideways, unable to recover in time. From the flames, a triumphant Balrog burst forth, his fist glowing with power. A golden flash exploded across the battlefield as burning stones shot toward the demons. Balrog dodged them with ease, his eyes gleaming with battle lust. He clamped his hands together, gritting his teeth, and accelerated, racing through the storm of debris. Garkas was falling headfirst, but Balrog had already hit the ground, and with a powerful push-off, launched himself like a rocket toward his target. Garkas couldn't stop his descent as Balrog closed the gap, his fist drawn back and packed with concentrated force. The moment it connected, another massive explosion erupted. The air twisted violently as a column of dust blasted into the sky. Suddenly Balrog's focus snapped elsewhere. He was being ambushed. Monsters charged from every direction. A green, one-eyed demon readied itself to strike. Caught off guard for just a moment, Balrog snarled. "Cheap tricks, is that all?" He spun around, grinning, even as several green-skinned demons clung to his arms and legs. But just then, a roar split the air. Garkas burst from the dust cloud, bellowing in fury. The surprise startled even the swarming demons. Garkas unleashed a torrent of flames from his mouth, scorching everything in its path. The ground beneath him melted into lava. Garkas grinned with satisfaction, but then, his expression shifted. Even he could feel it now. The battle was spiraling out of control. Balrog, his fists blazing with fire, burst from a column of dust and shattered stone. "Quit messing around!" he shouted as he soared toward Garkas with another explosive strike. The 9th circle lit up once more with a blinding flash as Balrog closed the distance. Gargas raised his fist to counter, but Palak was already too close. "Die!" Garkas roared, but Balrog struck first, fire surging through his punch. "I am the strongest demon of the 9th circle," he declared. A massive ball of lava crashed down on Garkas. Balrog leapt to the side just as the blow landed. As the dust settled, he stood over his fallen foe, watching him motionless on the ground. In his mind he mused, no one ever expected an actual victor to emerge from these endless battles. But here he was. Balrog's eyes still burned with the thrill of battle. But then, he remembered that man. The day he appeared, everything changed. Even Pick had felt it, the pressure, the fear. He had lowered his gaze in silence. On the crimson carpet of the throne room, Balrog stood bowing among countless other demons. All had gathered in the castle of the Demon King. Seated on his throne, clad in armor glowing with a deep, ominous purple, the Lord of Hell watched his subjects with glittering, unreadable eyes. Balrog finally dared to raise his voice. "My lord, with all of Hell under your command, why would you want to leave?" Silence fell over the throne room once more. The Demon King's gaze lingered on Balrog, unblinking. His body was wreathed in crackling purple flames, and even the defiant Balrog trembled under the weight of his presence. That aura, an overwhelming, suffocating pressure, it carried the hunger of a being who had devoured demon after demon, absorbing their power, one who had destroyed the 7 princes, each so mighty they couldn't even destroy each other. He had risen above them all. His power was absolute. He could consume demons with ease. The others felt it too, the fear, the tension. Was the Lord angry? Balrog felt it deep in his bones, as if a monstrous, invisible mouth was ready to swallow them all. But then, a question broke the silence. A simple, tired question. What do I even have left? The Demon King slowly lifted his hand, the motion weary. I've been trapped in this pit for 10,000 years, he muttered, seeing the same burning landscape, doing nothing but kill. In a heavy moment, he removed his mask. Beneath it wasn't some grotesque monster, but a human face. The Demon King, O Kangwu, looked more broken than terrifying. I don't even know what's left to conquer anymore, he whispered in despair. Trying to lift the mood, Balrog clenched his fist with enthusiasm. My lord, perhaps you're just hungry. We've prepared something special for you. At his command, the demons rolled forward a massive covered platter. You've devoured tens of thousands of demons, Pix said with a nervous grin. So yes, this might seem humble, but please accept it as a gift from your loyal servants. He reached for the lid. Underneath, lying in a pool of its own blood, was the severed head of one of the last great beasts, Folklore, a final offering, served cold. Okanwu shoved the beast's head back toward his servant, his expression twisted in disgust. I'm not eating that, he said flatly. Balrog instantly dropped to his knees. It's my fault, my lord. Please forgive me. The grotesque head lay limp in its own slime, untouched. I have no desire to eat such filth, Kangwu muttered. He bit his lip, frustration rising. His eyes swept over the kneeling demons, his aura flaring with barely restrained power. In that moment, he pictured a warm, familiar dish, something real, something human. What I want, he said softly, is kimchi stew. Balrog began muttering the words, kimchi stew, to himself, trying to make sense of the unfamiliar name. Around him, the demons raised their hands cheering. Kimchi stew! A dish worthy of the insatiable Demon King! Their mouths watered, though, of course, they were imagining juicy, raw meat. But Kangwu cut them off with a sigh. You're all so short-sighted. Balrog cracked his knuckles with a vicious grin. So, whose head do we cook for the base? Or should I rip someone's guts out? Just say the word, my lord, and I'll tear someone apart for you. No, Kangwu muttered tiredly. That's not kimchi stew. You demons know nothing about cooking. All you ever do is eat your enemies. Balrog clasped his hands together and smiled nervously. Ah, I get it now. The Lord must be bored. What he needs is a grand spectacle. Like when the 7 princes perished. The other demons nodded and cheered in agreement, but Kangwu, his voice trembling with exasperation, nearly cried out. No! I need novels, and mana! Balrog, crushed, slammed his fist against the ground. He lowered his head in shame. If I can't bring you joy, then at least let my death entertain you. Loyal tears welled in his eyes. Kangwu glared at him. What are you even saying? Balrog still bowed, ready to accept punishment, even death. Kangwu sighed deeply, his thoughts drifting. What he really longed for was to find the one he once loved. Suddenly, a soft chuckle echoed through the throne room. All eyes turned toward the source. A striking demoness stood confidently on the red carpet, her figure graceful and commanding. What I do, my lord? She asked, her voice smooth like silk. With a rhythmic click of her heels, she sauntered forward. The demons whispered in awe. It was Lilith, queen of the succubi, renowned as the most beautiful being in all of hell. She ran a delicate hand over her chest and gazed at the Demon King. With sharp teeth biting at her lips and tears welling from her many eyes, she asked, Is Lilith's love not enough for you? For a moment, Kangwu's face froze, expressionless. Lilith cupped her face in her hands and purred. Tonight, I am completely at your mercy, my lord. Taken aback, Kangwu stammered. Didn't I order you not to come near me? Not even a single step? Lilith giggled playfully. Oh my, are you shy, my king? A tentacle snaked up from her side and gently wrapped around Kangwu's hand. She leaned in, eyes glimmering. So, what should I call you? Lord of the Ninth Circle? Around them, demons shifted uncomfortably, half envious, half horrified, at the bizarre, intimate scene unfolding before them. Kangwu tried to shove Lilith away, his expression strained with discomfort. In his mind, he muttered, This succubus may look alluring, but she drains the life out of men. She's anything but charming. Struggling against her grip, he pleaded. Enough, just leave me alone. Honestly, compared to her, even Balrog seemed adorable. He knew better than to trust appearances. Deep down, he was afraid. Then, clenching his fist, Kangwoo looked out over the room and declared, I want to return to Earth. His gaze swept across the demons. I have to go back. Both Balrog and Lilith stared at him, stunned. Balrog stepped forward, speaking with emotion. My lord, please reconsider. But Kangwoo's desire hadn't changed in 10,000 years. If anything, it had only grown stronger. Now, with the fall of the final prince, Baal, the time had come. Kangwoo folded his hands in his lap, eyes distant. It's finally time. In a sudden motion, he rose from his throne and strode past his stunned servants. 10,000 years in hell. It's time they paid off. He turned sharply to Balrog. Prepare the ritual.